It is interview application season, and because of that, we have a ton of user-generated questions that are coming in. We love hearing from you, and if you're listening on the podcast or if you're watching this on YouTube, would you hit subscribe right now? Because we're going to be releasing the application deadlines. We're releasing insights into how to crunch the time between now and your applications, just like in this video, where we're going to talk about whether you network yes, no, and how to do it in the last couple of weeks before applications drop. I'm Jenny Ray LaRue from Management Consulted, and we are getting a ton of questions right now about how long before your interview you can still continue to network and have it be cool. And so I'm going to just talk through a specific scenario. Let's say that your interview was under 3 weeks from now, and you were thinking about what the core issues were, and you were trying to figure out how to secure the interview for sure, and you definitely wanted to do some networking, but you weren't sure if it was too late. You weren't sure how much networking you still had time to do. Let me just break it down for you. First of all, networking for consulting is essential for more than one reason. The number one reason that you network is that many people, especially going through non-core processes, like you're not at Harvard and they're not definitely taking 42 of you next year, but you're going through a process where you're trying to elevate your status inside the firm. It's essential that you have somebody who can advocate for you from the inside, who says, this person is McKinsey material, this person is Bain material, we should really take a look at them. That is a major game changer in your entire application process and the core reason why you should network. But the other reason that you should network before you apply and before you interview is because it gives you a ton of intel that you can use to personalize your interview approach and also to really build resonance when you're explaining back to the firm why you want to work there. And so it is a weapon for you, and it is also an opportunity, an open door for you to use. So we would really recommend that you network in general. It's great from both sides. And if you're nervous about networking, it's probably a great sign that you're not going to be a good fit for the job, because this job is very interpersonal, very conversational. It's a huge part of what you need to be able to do. So we would recommend that you get your reps in now and get comfortable with it.
Do you want to work for a fast-growing strategy consultancy? Stax is a boutique firm hiring now for multiple roles across its 3 U.S. offices and rapidly expanding London office. With top-of-the-market compensation, fast-paced projects, and the opportunity to be promoted quickly, Stax is an attractive place to start or continue your consulting career. So if you're looking for a consulting role in a rigorous environment, working side by side with senior leaders on engagements across industries and project types, Stax might be the perfect firm for you. Find open positions plus job descriptions and requirements at the link in the show notes or at stax.com/careers. That's stax.com/careers.
But how many people do you need to network with, which is really the underlying question for how long you would need to network. And really the answer is much smaller than a lot of people think. A lot of people think, I'm going to develop this nuclear army in order to walk through the process, to meet this one person and then to have them introduce me to a second person. And I've infiltrated the entire firm by the time I'm done with my networking process. Super not necessary. One person's referral is all that it takes to bump up your status. One person's insight can give you a tremendous amount of color into the firm. So if you have under 3 weeks until your application and it's time for you to apply, if you're thinking about not networking because you want to excuse yourself from the process because you think that it's gone too late and there's not enough time to get it done, I would say hard no. You absolutely, absolutely do need to network. It is valuable for the 2 reasons that I mentioned earlier, and you have plenty of time to meet one person inside the firm. Sure, do you have time to meet everybody? No. No one who had the time needed to meet anybody anyway. So in that 3 weeks, you absolutely have enough time. It is still essential, and you should absolutely make it a priority. But here is the other challenge, which is an underlying piece of the rub. In fact, I got a LinkedIn message about this just yesterday. Somebody said, hey, I don't know where to prioritize my time. I feel like I need to network. Should I spend all of my time on that? Or should I spend all of my time on case prep or something in between? And I would take a super balanced approach. So it actually verbatim, this is my 3-week playbook for networking if you have 3 weeks or under to break into the firm. Number one, find one person at each firm at a minimum that you can write to and ask to set up a call. You have under 3 weeks, so you need that call to be this week or next week, and you need it to be 15 minutes. So make the email awesome so they want to get on the phone with you, and send them a scheduled time, not a do you have time, but a can we meet on Thursday at 6 p.m. Central. Make it really clear, super explicit. Second of all, you want to make sure that you are building your resume to what you think is a best practice version, regardless of the firm's input. If they give you input, you want it to be tweaks at the margin and not essential. That's number two. Number three is that you need to practice for market sizing cases before you ever get an interview confirmed. Because if you try to start practicing for interviews, once you have an interview confirmed, you're already too late to the party. So if you can do those 3 things in 3 weeks, reach out to one person at each firm at a minimum, have a conversation with one person at the firm. So if that person doesn't reach back out to you, keep going until you can find somebody who does. Get on the phone with them, ask them for a referral, get some insights, begin your prep with market sizing, and also simultaneously build a slam bang resume. You're going to be in the zone by the time it comes to the interview process. Also, you're going to up your chances in a major way. So don't disqualify yourself from networking if you feel like it's too late. A lot of people in the consulting industry are very pressure oriented. In fact, that was what I said when I kind of wanted to make a joke in my interviews. They asked me, what is your greatest weakness? And I said, I'm very deadline driven, which basically means I'm a procrastinator. So you can really, really lean into your strengths. If you're good at delivering on time, just under the wire, do the same thing here in your application process. Go get them and let us know how it goes. If you're game to have some help in the process, let's say you don't know how to network. You're not sure if your networking email is working. You're trying a networking email and nobody's writing you back. P.S. It's probably you, not them. If you don't have a resume that you love, if you're not ready for the interview, we have a structured program that walks you exactly through what I just talked about and more with the expert guidance of both our internal team and a coach. And that's called Black Belt. We also have an advanced one called Super Prep if you need extra help in the process. So if you want to join us, we would love to help you. I would not wait. I would not wait at all, because getting into these programs and getting started with them can change who you interview with, not just how you do inside the interviews as well. Good luck. It's a big process. We'd love to help if we can be of help to you as well.